So hello and welcome to the video on strings. In Python, textual data or sequence of characters or single characters is represented with strings, which is usually enclosed with single quotes or double quotes or triple quotes. So in this we can see I have a print function which has the string hello Mars enclosed with single quote. So now if I save and run this Python 3 and the name of the program is hello world.py, and I spelled it wrong there. So it prints hello Mars. Okay, so now let me show you another way of doing this. Let me have a variable called text and type hello Mars as a string. Now hello Mars is a string, the same as here, and text is the variable that contains it. So now instead of directly passing the hello Mars string here, I'm going to pass the variable that contains the hello Mars string, which in the case text. So now if I save and run it, we get the answer as the same hello Mars. So text is a variable that contains a string. Usually in Python, all around the world, not in Python, generally all around the world follow a convention of naming their variables in all lower cases, and it should be as specific as possible. The variable should reflect what it contains and what its purpose. This provides good readability to those who read your code, even if the reader is you in the future. You don't want to become this meme here. So try to be as specific as possible while naming the variables. So now we have a string hello Mars, which is enclosed inside single quote. But what if we want a string that has a single quote in it, like a possessive noun? Suppose I want Tom's Mars, I want this exact string as the output. But when Python says it, it sees this string, it sees this code as the end of the string, and it doesn't know what to do with the rest of the sentence. So we can escape this by using backslash, and if we save and run it, we have Tom's Mars with the single quote on it. But usually there's a more easy way. We can just use double quotes. Since we now represent the ending and beginning of the string with double quotes, Python does not have any problem with the single quotes here. And likewise, if we want to have double quotes in our code, we would print it with single quote. Like, it doesn't exist, but just for an example. But what to do if we have single quotes as well as double quotes in our code? Like, consider this sentence. So this string contains single quotes as well as double quotes. We can use triple quotes. Triple quotes are either single quotes 3 times or double quote 3 times. So I'm using here double quote 3 times in a row. So now if we print it, this shows an error because these three are conflicting. So just leave a space here. And now if we print it, this string will be exactly printed. So this string contains single quotes as well as double quotes. But we have no problem in our string since we use triple quotes to represent them. So triple quoted strings are also used for other purpose like multi-line string. So if I have a string like this, it is occupying like 3 lines, and if we print it, it says the same, and with new lines printed, because after every line there's a new line here. So this is another use of triple quoted strings. Triple quoted strings are usually used for documentations, which we'll see in further videos. We can also get the string as input like this. So what it does is the compiler waits for us for the user to type the code. Let me print hello world as well. It takes the text and prints it here. You can also input a message to the user. Enter a string. It asks enter a string, and if I type hello Mars, it's hello Mars here. This is the string we typed as an input, and this is the output. So let's get back to our simple example of having hello Mars. We have been accessing the whole strings for now. So if we print text, it prints the whole string. But what if we want to print only a single letter from that string? Say if we want to print H or E. So in every string, every character, every letter is assigned to an index. So H is assigned an index 0, E is assigned an index 1, and L is 2, and likewise. This is a 10 character string, and since it starts with the index 0, 9, S has the index 9. So if I want to print hello which has the index 0, just type a square bracket and type in the index which is 0. We print it, we get the output as H. So let me clear the screen now. If we want to print E, its index is 1, and so we get it E. If I want to print the letter S, which is the index 9, I can do this in this way, or also this one, -1. This might seem bizarre at first, but if you want to access the string from the end, you have to specify minus, and since S is the first letter from the end, you have to specify the 1. So if I want to print R, I just have to -2 here. It prints R. This is called subscript. Okay. Now there's another method. What if I want to print hello or Mars or hello? There's a special operator called here colon, and to the left side of this colon we specify the starting index that we want to access from. So if I want to print the letter hello, the starting index of H is 0, so I put 0 here, and to the right of the string we specify the end of the string where we want to access. So if our string is hello Mars for the example without space, and hello is the index 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we want to specify 5 here. This is because the beginning index is inclusive, right? So 0, if I specify 0, 0 is included as the output, but this here, it is exclusive. Even though the index of 5 is the index of m, it does not print 5, it prints only up to 4. So HELLO 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is printed, but not 5. So exclusive, it is up to but not including the 1. It's up to 4. So if I save and run it, I get the answer hello. So I found Mars. I know that it is starting at index 5 and is 9, ending is 9. So Mars. So if I don't specify any number here and start with as is, it defaults to the beginning of the string with index 0. So it starts from index 0 and prints up till 9. So hello Mars. And also if I want to specify an empty and nothing here, it just marks to the end of the string and it just prints the whole string as hello Mars. This technique is called slicing, and if we specify another colon operator, we can iterate over this with an interval. So if I have an interval of 1, it just prints the whole one as hello Mars. Let me clear the screen again. But if I have an interval of 2, it just leaves one letter in between. So H is the beginning index, it leaves E, and H is printed but it leaves E. L is printed, it leaves this L, and O is printed like H, L, O, A, S, like that. H, L, O, A, S. So if I specify 3 here, E, L, these two letters are left out, but this L is printed, and O, M are left out, and this A is printed. H, L, A. And since RS is left out, there's no continuation here, so it just returns HLA. So if we want to reverse a string, it's too easy. We don't have anything loop kind of. any kind of loop, which we'll discuss in future videos. If we want to reverse the string, like say we want to print SRAMOLLOEH, you have to specify the interval as -1. This iterates over the string from the end, and if I save and run it, we get the output as SRAMOLLEH. So besides this, our string supports various methods. If we want to convert all the letters of the string into an uppercase, I just have to use the dot operator followed by upper, and this bracket is important here for now. So if I save and run it, all the letters in the string are converted into caps. So there are many methods. In order to see what are the methods available on the string, you just have to print dir and the name of the string, which is text in this case. So if I save and run it, we get this. So if we ignore this underscore methods for now and just focus on more friendly methods, we see upper, which I just used now, and also lower, which converts any lower string character into an upper, which converts upper string character into a lower string character. And capitalize is it's straightforward. It just capitalizes the first letter of this text. So if I want to use it just like the previous way with upper, I just have to print the text followed by a dot operator and capitalize. It's Z here. So if I save and run, H should be as capital H. There's a method called find, which we specify as character. So it just returns the index at which the character is found. So if I just specify M here, we know that it's at index 5. If I save and run it, we get 5. And there's also split. So if my string contains a space in between, and if I want to access this hello and Mars separately by splitting with space, I just have to use split. This defaults to a space, but now we specify a space to be careful. So if I save and run it, it just prints a list of the string separated by space, hello and Mars. So if a string is separated by a comma, we can just specify a comma here, and if I save and run it, it still specifies the same because it just sees the comma here. And so if I just try to separate it by space, now it doesn't work because this string does not contain any space, it just prints the whole one. Hello Mars. It's just a single string, you can see it has this single quotes, but here I have two separate strings, hello and Mars. So if I want to replace Mars with Earth, I just have to put the replace and I have to specify what part of the string I want to replace. I say Mars here, and what do I have to replace with? Earth. So we should expect hello Earth here, hello Earth. There's another method called ends with and starts with, which prints 2 if the method starts with the string I specify here. So this text starts with the word hello. We can also specify H if we want. So if I save and run it, it prints true because text starts with hello. And similarly, there's an ends with method with single s, and I want to check if the string ends with s, I just have to do this, and it prints true because Mars has s in it and it's the last of the string. I want to check if it ends with h, it is false because the string ends with h again. So there are many methods to play with. You can see there are a ton of methods and everything is useful. Just play around with it. So now let's talk about concatenating the strings. If we have two strings and text 1 is equal to Mars, if I print text plus text1, what it does is appends this, it just joins these two strings like this. Hello Mars. Let me clear this again. And it works with any strings. So if I want to print like message is equal to hello to Martians and hello to, so this is one string, and if I want to include these strings, I have to include plus and text and plus text 1. So this says hello to Martians and to hello and hello to hello Mars. I know it's a stupid string, but I just print the message. We get hello to Martians and hello to Mars. Of course I have to specify space here. So this method is often prone to errors because I have to be careful with strings. If I want to add another string, I have to be sure I have to enclose it in quotes, and it's often end up in mistakes. So there's an option called string formatting. What I have to do is, in a single string, you have to specify a placeholder in which we would use these two variables. So outside the quotes, so we have print everything inside the quotes till now, and outside the quotes we use dot format and use text comma text1. Now what it does is, this text variable is placed here and this bracket is not printed, and this text1 is also placed here positionally. So if I do this, the output is hello Mars. So this does include the variables in the placeholder positionally. But what if I want the text1 to be placed first and the text to be placed later? So this is also an index. Text is 0 index here and text1 is 1. If I print 1 here, this puts the text1 here, and if I put 0 here, it puts text here. So if I save and run it, the output is Mars hello. And similarly, instead of specifying all this, we have a f string in Python 3.6 or above. We just have to specify f in the beginning of the string, and we have to pass these variables directly. Now the output looks the same and it's more tidier than ever. So if I have a text and I multiply with an integer or a number here, 3, what it does is, the text contains hello. This repeats the text, the number specified by this number. So if I save and run it, hello hello hello, because the text hello is repeated this number of times.